building my dome. Concrete walls, yeah, it's my home. Stockpile stacked with rations tight. Prep for the dark, we'll light the fight. Forage the woods, take what I need. Off-grid living, no time for greed. Barter goods in the shadow shade. Tactical steps in plans I've laid. Back to the bunker where the truth won't bend. Water and food where the road might end. Bug out bags by the door, stand tall, prepared for the fall. Yeah, prepared for it all. Generators hum, a comforting sound. Blackout nights when chaos surrounds. Seeds in jars, yeah, we're growing life. Homesteading strong in a time of strife. No high-tech wires, no web to roam. Resilience beats the world unknown. Hands in the soil, hearts in the fight. Staying ready every day, every night. Back to the bunker where the truth won't bend. Water and food where the road might end. Bug out bags by the door, stand tall, prepare for the fall. Yeah, prepare for it all. Back through the bunker where the truth won't bend. Water and food where the road might end. Bug out bags by the door, stand tall, prepare for the fall. Yeah, prepare for it all. Prepare for it all.
All right, and it just broke in. Nice. Let me push a button over here, guys. Good to see you all here back at the Prepper Hangout, where we give the opportunity for people to come in here and talk about their preparedness journey and what they've been doing on YouTube and podcasts, things of that nature. Today's guest is actually someone who I just recently met. Seems pretty cool, so I want to come and go ahead and bring him out here. His name is, this is the wrong button. This one is like, it is like, whenever I push this out, I don't know why it does this. There we go. Now people can see the human size. This is Brian. He's coming over from his YouTube channel called Provide and Protect. I want to push that button too. I like pushing that button. There we go. So guys, that's actually his YouTube channel over there, Provide and Protect. And let's see here. Just going to read it off here. Our mission is to provide men with the necessary knowledge, skills, and tools to be competent and effective providers and protectors for themselves, their families, and their communities. And he's been doing this since 2022. He has 241,000 followers, dwarfing a lot of preparers out there in the world. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the chat. And everybody, make sure that you say hi. As usual, if you don't ask the question, you will not get an answer. And sooner or later, he'll be telling his story. So, Brian, welcome to the show. And yeah, so I like your mission statement. It's not quite corporate, but it's realistic. And I really do like, he actually has a section on his channel for, where's it at? It's in his playlists. Where are we at here? Homesteading, TV, men and manhood. And manhood. And I honestly believe that probably at that playlist, men and manhood, has the least amount of videos in it out of all your videos. but I'm betting that it has a lot to do with your channel.
Yeah, that's
Tell
right.
us more. Tell us
Yeah,
more.
so part of it was a study I was doing. Actually, I just finished a book and called Provide and Protect, a guide for men in a world of
Okay.
weakness, wokeness, and compromise. And part of it was a study in looking at the plight of men today in particular. And I looked
Okay.
at 8 different metrics, how men are struggling financially, relationally, mentally, physically, vocationally, all these areas, legally. And men are just falling behind in a big, big way. I mean, far behind women in all those metrics, every single metric I
Mhm.
looked at. And so part of it was my own journey in that, but also I want to help other men. So yeah, my channel, I don't really say it like in my videos a lot, but a lot of my channel is geared toward men. I mean, like 98% of my audience is men. And
Mhm.
so I've kind of embraced that as well. But so that's part of it. And then, I do believe there's somewhat in our culture, probably in the last 20 years, especially something of this may be controversial a little bit for your channels. I won't go into it,
I
but
doubt it. I listen, dude. I only have one rule on all of my channels.
okay.
Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. That's
Okay.
it.
Okay. All right.
That's it. You can say and do whatever you want to do.
So it's
Speak to
really,
me.
we've seen a war on men, and really what we're seeing is for a lot of young men like today, like high school seniors, like
Mhm.
are far outpacing in this movement toward more of a conservatism kind of thing.
Mhm.
And I think the reason is because they've been told their whole life that because they're a male, that they're the problem of society, they're toxic or something. And so many of them are just rejecting that and saying, you know what, I've had it. I'm done with that stereotype of just being toxic for how I was born. And so I think a lot of guys are looking for some kind of guidance out there. And so what I'm trying to do, I mean, with this channel is really to touch that kind of nerve, that piece that people
Mhm.
are maybe kind of unhappy about, or they're not satisfied, don't have a fulfillment or a purpose, and they're saying, you know what, I know I'm not toxic because of how I was born. Then what should I do? Like, what kind of man should I be? And so, provide and protect really became, I mean, that title was really kind
Mhm.
of geared toward men,
Mhm.
not only as something that was their duty and calling and responsibility, but also something fun. And
Mhm.
so we want to have fun with it as well. So a lot of my channel is kind of geared toward men, but I don't really state it so obviously in my videos. It's kind of more broadly spoken to apply to anybody. But that's kind of, I guess that's kind of the background of how I got into that world of provide and protect.
Yeah, man. I love that. I love that perspective. And it's true. It's true. Not to get too deep, but this is a basically no holds barred interview or a hangout. I don't even like calling it an interview. I call it an interview when I'm trying to get you on, and then we just hang out.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've seen that. I completely agree with you 100%. And the other thing too is they might be looking, as we've seen basically an attack on men over the last 10-15 years.
Hmm.
Okay. I'm not a fan of men who wear skinny jeans.
Yep.
I have a real problem with it. Okay. But I also have to realize that this is also the environment that they're being brought up in.
Yeah.
And I think it honestly has a lot to do with positive male role models,
Hmm.
positive masculine male role models, and respectful male role models. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I often see, where I've seen teenage boys, not to go too far on left field, like playingly strike uh,
Yeah.
a girl. Okay, they're fighting the way brothers would fight. And
Hmm.
in my day, you didn't touch your sister.
No way.
You came, you did, the only thing you were there was to protect her and just yell at her a lot, you
Yeah.
know?
You never strike her. That's
Yeah,
for
you never
sure.
put your hands on her, period. And I don't see that. But I think your book is a great idea. I was trying to find it on Amazon. Where can we find this book at?
Well, I've written 12 books, and so this
Okay.
is another one in the the journey, and it's with my agent right now. So it's not.
Okay.
He's negotiating a contract right now. So
Oh, okay. So it's not published yet. Okay,
hopefully
cool.
February,
Where,
March.
where can they find your other books at then?
I mean, Amazon or
Okay, so we just Google Brian Crosby. Okay.
yeah. I mean, yeah. Google my name and
Okay.
stuff
Okay.
will come up.
Well, here's what I'll do. I'm the same way. People are like, how do they find you, LP? Just Google Local Prepper, all one word. I'm the first 6 pages on Google.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm asking because people will eventually ask where they can find these books, and they can make their own decisions. And then the other thing is I always like to update the description. That way they can actually, like, if you have a web page or you're on Amazon or whatever, then I can point them towards that, because people are going to come back. I have a pretty robust replay crew.
Cool.
And they'll come back here and find the spot where they're supposed to go, and they'll go check the things out. Like, oh, he already did it for us. People love when people do things for them.
Yeah.
So it all comes out in the wash. It all comes out in the wash. Okay, well, let's see here. I'm basically going to be going off of everything that's on your channel here. I liked your Enough is Enough video, but we're going to take a step off our soapbox for a little while anyway. Yeah. But I am disappointed with your pepper spray test video. Okay, because I really wanted someone to get sprayed.
Yeah. Did you see my first one?
Your first pepper spray video?
Yeah.
No, I did not. How far do I got to go back to find that one?
Oh man, I don't know.
Okay, I can probably just search for it right on this channel.
Yeah. So they only sent me two cans, and I wanted to test what they're actually, saying that they do.
Okay.
On the channel, and so I basically used both cans in this more recent video.
Okay.
And part of that was trying to determine the distance of the shot, and then also how long, once you depress the button, how long it would actually go. So after I finished both of them, I'm like, well, there's nothing more to do. And I didn't really feel like getting sprayed again in the face. So, yeah.
So is it the one that says your thumbnail says it hurts?
Yeah, that one.
Okay. We may watch that if we have time. How long is that video? That's 7 minutes. I may find like the special spot, and then maybe we'll play that or something.
I mean, even spraying it away from you, you get you get the sense of it.
Oh yeah. Pepper spray is no joke, man. It's I
didn't really feel like getting sprayed in the face. I wasn't in the mood.
It's not fun. It's not fun. In the military, we had to, every time we were getting ready to go out on a deployment, we had to qualify.
Yeah,
with the stuff.
I'm military too, so I get it.
Oh yeah, nice. Yeah. Which service?
Air Force.
Sorry to hear that. No.
Yeah, I know.
My last guest was in the Air Force too.
Who was that?
Yeah, my last guest. Yeah, that was it Mike Tango Whiskey?
Oh, okay.
He was in the Air Force. He was like a painter. But I mean, hey, dude, I'll tell you the same thing I tell him. At some point, we chew the same dirt. It's that easy. Absolutely that easy. So
yeah.
But so what'd you do in the Air Force?
Chaplain.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Did they call you Padre?
No, they just call me Chap.
Oh my goodness.
So.
You're awful young to be a chaplain.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I had been doing like ministry and stuff for 12, 15 years. And so got into it and, went through the process. And so actually I'm technically still in reserves right now. So.
Okay. So you still have it's hard to have like a ministry in the military, but I mean, so are you still, do you have like a ministry outside of the military?
Yeah. Yeah. In a local church. So
okay, nice.
I do that too. So so the YouTube thing still is just kind of on the side. But I have a friend of mine that always says if you need more time, you need more team, and so my time was very limited. So I've got a great team. And
that's awesome, dude.
They help me with a lot of stuff. So I teach a couple of schools and a lot of different things. I mean, and then the family, the homestead and our goats and chickens and everything else, it's kind of busy. So we've got a great team that really runs most everything. So I spend like 4 or 5 hours a week on YouTube type stuff. That includes not only the shooting the videos and editing stuff, but the other partnerships. And we got a shop, provideprotectshop.com, so we sell stuff there. So
I didn't know that. That's not on your YouTube channel. You're gonna have to hook me up. You're gonna have to hook me up with some links for when we're done, and I'll be happy to add them right to the links that are inside the description right now. So, but yeah, no, that's freaking awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. So after the first 4 times I got sprayed, they gave me a certificate saying I never had to be sprayed ever again. And they would try to be like, "You don't show me that certificate. You're not. You're." Yeah.
Did you go in and get your mask yanked off in the chamber? And
oh no. So they still do that in the Marine Corps, but that's a completely different thing. Getting sprayed is all
totally different.
Non-lethal qualifications.
Yeah, very different.
Yeah, but all right, let's see here. I'm going to go to your videos and I want to talk about some more. So you do a lot of firearm stuff. Now, obviously, the rules. You can't touch a firearm during a live stream, but there's no rules talking about it. As long as we don't promote it, we're good to go. So I don't know. Did you get that from the military, or is that like a thing that you really enjoy?
I kind of grew up with that, but part of the idea of provide and protect my channel, it's not only for men to do whatever it takes to provide for themselves, their families, and communities, but also to protect them. And part of that protection, of course, at some point, you got to have a discussion on firearms. And so, I mean, I grew up kind of shooting a lot, and certainly military. As a chaplain, you're not supposed to shoot much. And as a chaplain, you're as a non-combatant, but that doesn't mean I didn't do my fair share of shooting here and there. I'm not going to say anything more about that officially, but but certainly as in my civilian world, we wanted to be able to help, especially, like I said, men to be more comfortable and capable and effective and safe, protectors that can use a firearm. And part of the fundamental principle here is that we want to be able to protect. I mean, today, this is live, right?
Yes,
now?
This is live.
So today, there's a shooting in Minneapolis.
Yeah, I saw that.
Church. There's a school, and then this church that was there attached to the school. And, a lot of folks, when this kind of thing happens, they get really upset that there's a firearm, and they get mad at firearms.
Yeah.
Like the firearm itself is the problem. I can't remember who it was that talked about this, but, I didn't do very well in school growing up, but I couldn't really quite blame my pencil.
Yeah, exactly.
Taking the tests, I'm still, I'm getting the grade, not my pencil.
Yeah.
It's not the tool. In this case, the firearm. It's the person. And so the bigger discussion that we need to have, I mean, what people don't want to have, the discussion people don't want to have, is when these things happen, that they want to just go right on and blame the firearms. We got to have stricter gun laws, all that stuff. They have very strict gun laws in Chicago, DC and other places.
School zones.
Yeah. So 96% of mass shootings, including the one today, happen in gun-free zones. So the fact of you declaring, or someone declaring, "Oh, this is now a gun-free zone," you've now just opened up with a 96% certainty that if there is going to be a shooting, it's going to be there because you've just declared it to be a gun-free zone. So I've got an issue with that, because in those gun-free zones, so to speak, I can't protect myself and my family.
Yeah.
And I mean, people say, well, forget the firearms, just use a knife. Okay, well, do you bring a knife to a gunfight? I mean,
yeah.
So
I've seen a few of those. It doesn't work out for the guy with the knife. It doesn't work out very well.
So I want people to be comfortable and competent, but very, very safe, of course, in using firearms for self-defense. And, So I just think a lot of people, when they hear about the stories like today, and of course this is the fifth one this year. Um, you remember the whole Parkland
Yeah.
shooting? No,
Yeah.
sorry, Sandy Hook. Sandy Hook.
Okay.
A
Yeah.
couple years ago. And a guy comes through the front door, and the first person who met the shooter was the principal, a female principal. And she was the first person who was killed. And then he went on to kill all those children at the school. And I was thinking, what if she was armed and also trained?
Hmm.
I mean, all those kids would still be alive today. Now, that
Yeah.
may be so controversial that you may
Yeah.
not want to air this, but I'm just saying, like, there's got to be at some point common sense. Like people say, hey, just ban all the guns. There's over 25 million ARs in the country.
Yeah. It's pretty
I mean,
crazy the amount of
that's out of
firearms
the
we
bag.
have.
There's no way to go round up, that many, just the AR platform. I mean, actually, there's more guns in America than people. So this is out of the bag at this point. Like, there's no way to go around that. So the only way to, really protect someone is for them to be, armed and be able to defend themselves. Like I said, 96% of those mass shootings in gun-free zones, So anyway, that's the firearm discussion.
Yeah, and honestly, I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. And not that it matters, but I do agree with that. And I also see a lot of I'm actually part of a gun club. I don't really participate because unfortunately a lot of gun clubs are just full of octogenarians that
Yeah.
don't have anything better to do. You know what I'm saying? The club lasts as long as the oldest member lasts.
Mhm.
But that was one of the things that a friend of mine was involved with is church security, and so it was a real thing here in Virginia. It's legal. You know what I'm saying? So they have people. They know where they stand. They know what they wear. You know what I'm saying? They have a plan if something does happen, because unfortunately it's a dangerous place, and just like these,
Well, like today.
these children, yeah, like today, these children actually, it's like I heard the mayor of that town. He was pretty emotional, and he was saying, I don't want to hear about your what is it, thoughts and prayers, because these children are actually killed thinking and praying today. It's
Well,
pretty sad. It's pretty
and
sad.
not to make a too direct segue into the prepping itself, but I could talk all day long about the need for emergency communications and food and water, first aid, all the things that we I'm sure you and I would agree to have, but there's also the piece of protecting it. And
Hmm.
there's real, I mean, anytime there's been a natural disaster, you always hear about looters. You always
Hmm.
hear about, these bands of people going through and taking whatever. Well, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, exactly.
You come to my house, that's gonna be a different story for you.
Hmm.
So it's gonna be swift, it's gonna be effective and fast and lethal. And I don't say that to be cruel. It's just the reality that, because it's not because I hate, it's because I love
Hmm.
my family, and because I love life and wanting to support life. If you're trying to take it from me, or those that over whom I'm responsible, well, I mean, you're
Yeah,
gonna
you can
face,
have a bad day, bro.
you're gonna have a bad day.
You're gonna have a bad day. I tell people very similar things. I have they kind of stuck within within my followers, but I don't really, like, no one else has really bought off. Like the 10 C's of survival, that kind of thing. My
Yeah,
big thing is the pillars is water, food, and security, in that order.
yeah,
Because
a big one.
you got to have water. It is part of life. You
Yeah,
got to have
probably
food. It's part
probably
of
the most
life.
important one there. Yeah,
Yeah, and you got to protect your stuff. It's that easy.
yeah,
Someone will come and try and take your stuff if you give them the opportunity. And the other thing I tell people is that if people decide to try and take from me, then we're gonna walk up the hill, and you're gonna carry the shovel up, and I'm gonna carry the shovel down.
yeah,
It's really that simple.
yeah.
But
And again, it's not because I don't like people or hate. People say, well, if you are trying to carry a weapon or something, then you've got to be a guy full of hate. No, it's actually the opposite. It's
mhm,
because I love and want to support life. I mean, if you're out at a playground, let's say a teacher at a playground, and you're seeing another like a bully pummel some innocent, small kid, and you just sit by and like watch it happen, and
Yeah.
you actually don't step in and stop it or anything like that, well, then you're just as liable. I mean, if you had every means to stop someone a threat and you don't act, to me,
Mhm.
that's part of it too. Is we're directly responding to a threat, but there's also not taking action if you can to preserve life. We want to preserve life as much as we can. So that's why I'm a big supporter of the Second Amendment. It's
Yeah.
because I want to preserve life. It's not because I want to take it. Um,
Yeah, absolutely true.
um,
And a lot of people forget about the whole Good Samaritan Act. They should probably go back and read that,
yeah,
because in some places they have a responsibility
yeah,
a
that's right.
legal responsibility to try and stop something. But yeah, it's you know, things happen. Things happen, you know. I'm looking through your videos. Make money with fire, an act of treason. You got some really good videos. You make good videos, man. I really do enjoy your
Yeah,
content.
I appreciate
Um,
that. I try
I'm
sometimes.
trying to think here. You know what I need to do? I need to go. Hold on. This is something it's a new thing I'm trying since I discovered the oldest button on YouTube.
Oh
So
no.
your very first video you ever made, according to YouTube, is 5 things I'd change about your 2020 Honda Pioneer. And it appears that you fell in love with that thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I still have that. I mean, I had a Polaris Ranger for a long time,
Okay.
but for our homesteading purposes, man, having a side by side like that is so helpful. I mean, it's like the modern horse, I
Hmm.
mean, pulling stuff behind it, trailers or whatever you want to behind it. But really, for me, it's I throw in all my tools and gear, and I go take care of a project somewhere on the property, or pull out a tree from a ditch, or I even use it to build a barn. I mean, I use that Pioneer just about every day for some kind of purpose. So, in fact, I saw probably some of your viewers are familiar with Wrangler Star, the channel
Yeah.
Wrangler
Yeah.
Star. So he had a video recently, I think in the last week, like maybe the last few days,
Okay.
that he was saying, if you had to pick between, a side by side, and he has a Honda Pioneer,
Okay.
side by side, an excavator, a tractor, or a track hoe, like a Bobcat kind of thing, what's the first thing you need to get?
Hmm.
His first thing was a side by side.
I believe it. I believe it.
It's just so handy. Now he has several things. He has all of those. I do have an excavator. I did buy an excavator, and I use that all the time. But I mean, it's one of those tools that I use. My kids use it. The winch on that's so handy. The dump bed on it's very handy for firewood,
Hmm.
dirt, gravel, all that trash.
Hmm.
So it's important. Yeah. So that was my first video.
I gotcha. And it's fun to drive.
Oh
And
yeah,
it's
there,
fun to
there's that.
drive.
There is that too. So I mean, we got a 4-wheeler. We use that for smaller projects and things. But
I
um,
gotcha. Yeah,
yeah,
my son's ranch has one of those, and my youngest granddaughter, she comes screaming up to where we were grilling, and she's like, "Pop, you want to go for a ride?" And I'm like, "Okay, whatever." And then I get in, and she is just like all giddy, and I was like, "What have I got myself into?" And when I say young, she's 12,
yeah.
and she my girlfriend just screamed like how old she really was. I think she said 9. But yeah, she's a country girl.
Yep.
She knows the cycle of life. She's watched it. She doesn't have a problem with firearms. Thank God she goes to a preparatory school because she would
Yeah.
not fit in very well
Yeah.
you
My
know,
kids,
the
my kids have been kicked out a long time ago if they were in public school today. So
man, that is crazy.
yeah,
So I'm looking at one of your older videos. It's from a year ago, and it says, "Why are so many young Americans prepping?"
yeah. Yeah, it was a big movement. So we were seeing it's basically on some news stories of people because there were so many natural disaster and volatile things with the market and people were like, you know what? And I mean, of course, post COVID, people are always thinking about, well, what do we do? Something like this happened and we were in a lockdown situation, or what if it got really out of control? There's
Hmm.
something like a without the rule of law situation or something. And so a lot of younger folks are thinking, you know what? I can't just depend upon my local grocery store to have everything I need at the moment's notice, because we've
Hmm.
already seen. I mean, the what was it? What was it? Is it a toilet paper that people was a run on during early COVID?
Oh yeah, people went the Great Toilet Paper Apocalypse 2020
Yeah,
2019.
yeah. And it was like, what's going on with that? But really, it's a what we've seen is a broader movement among a lot of younger folks that are. I mean, I think there's been this generational gap or something, because again, my grandparents and their parents, this was just part of the way they lived. It wasn't like, hey, I want
Hmm.
to be a prepper. Like, they're
Yeah.
not trying to take a title or anything. They're just saying this is the most practical, realistic way to live and survive and thrive. Now, we've gotten so comfortable with our phones and everything else and modern living that if the littlest issue, it just triggers something that, man, I can't get gas for 3 days. What's going on? Like,
Hmm.
and and for those of us, I'm sure a lot of your viewers and mine too. If we can't get gas or get food or whatever for a week or two, we're like, all right, you know,
Yeah, whatever.
we're okay. Uh, it's a peace of mind, and I think a lot of
Yeah.
people don't realize that. At the end of the day, I mean, so one of the biggest, you can probably look it up. I did a video after Hurricane Helene,
Hmm.
and it's kind of like an angry rant.
Okay.
And man, I don't know how many comments I got on that video. You can look it up probably, but it's something about Hurricane Helene, and I got just tons of comments, a lot of them negative, because I was basically just saying, this is why people prepare. And people are like, yeah, but they lost everything. Well, not all of them did, number one. But those that did, I mean, at least they could have had a go bag or something just to grab in the corner and like run up the hill like last minute or something. A lot of people are saying, well, it's no here's the main argument I heard from those comments on that video was that there's no reason you shouldn't prepare at all because all your preps are going to get washed away. That was that was their
Hmm.
that was their argument.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? That's so just don't prepare at all. I'd rather have a fighting chance in that moment, than just give up. So it's just not my cup of tea to just give up. So anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
that was an interesting video.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at it right here, and there were 706 comments, and the last one was from Palijo, and he says, "I can't emphasize enough how losing all your preps is not the same as not prepping."
Yeah,
Absolutely,
absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
finally, people get it. Like,
yeah,
but there's just a lot of idiots.
I gotcha. Okay, all right. So we've come to
I say
that
that in
part
love.
of yeah. We've come to that part of the show where we have to pay the bills. We have to drink some coffee, and we have to we have to show how much I love our country. If you love your country, put a number one in the chat. Erica, we're gonna drink that coffee.
I got my
Oh
coffee
yeah,
too.
we're gonna talk that smack, and we're gonna pay some bills. Time to get serious, guys. Come here. What if the medical kit you carry could be trusted to save a life every single time? I'm here to tell you about Refuge Medical, an American company that's redefining what it means to be prepared. Now, Refuge Medical is proudly 100% American, based in Oklahoma. Every single component in their first aid kit and trauma gear, from the tourniquet to the gauze to the trauma shears, is sourced right here in America. No shortcuts, no compromises. When you choose Refuge Medical, you're not just investing in your safety or your loved ones. You're supporting American families and rebuilding American manufacturing, which is kind of important right now. Now, why are refuge medical kits the best on the planet? Well, it's simple. Because they're field tested and trusted by professionals and built to exceed military standards. Why settle for less when you can trust the best? Choosing Refuge Medical, American made, unmatched quality, and guaranteed for life. Just smart. Refuge Medical isn't just about gear, it's about giving you the confidence to act when it matters the most. Back to the show. Okay.
It makes me want to buy some Refuge Medical.
Hey, well, I hope so, man. I hope so. I really love the company, and I'm not even like I am an affiliate. Don't get me wrong. I got a
Sure.
promo code and all that stuff, but it's like it's just really easy. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I've got this thing, and it does everything you want it to do. And yeah, it's a little expensive, but it doesn't ever break. And if it does, they'll replace it for free.
Yeah.
It's kind of the American way.
I'm a big fan of. I wrote a book called First Aid Basics. You can get that on Amazon too. And so this is a big part from my journey in prepping to make sure that, if something goes down, yeah, it's good to have the water, of course. I mean, I would say water, food, protection, emergency communications, but medical is going to be probably for me, top 5 at least.
Oh yeah, it's huge. It's huge, man.
So, yeah.
Let's see here. There was actually a question here. Rose put in here. There we go. Boop. Put that on the screen. And Rose says, who questions you more on the use of weapons? Where you preach or where you teach?
Well, thankfully, so I'm near Chattanooga, Tennessee. And being in Tennessee, I don't have anybody near me or in my community that questions the use of firearms. I mean, where I preach so my church is called Wayside Presbyterian Church, Signal Mountain, Tennessee. But and I teach at a school in Atlanta, Reformed Theological Seminary, and in Florida, and so Reformation Bible College. So I don't, no one there has any issue with any of the things I'm saying today. In fact, at my church, we've got a security team. And they train. You were just talking about this earlier, right? I mean, we do the same thing at our church. So the people that question my use of firearms are on YouTube. Is the comments. So the thing about YouTube, you gotta your viewers probably know this, but I know you do. I'm sure. But you have to have thick skin. Anytime you have someone stating their position, their view, their belief, whatever, publicly, you're going to get hate and pushback. And so you have to know that. And so I think a lot of people don't want to do YouTube or don't want to do, have a public platform or influence in any kind of way because they're going to get so much pushback. Well, that's part of it. So I've embraced it honestly on YouTube because, like that one video that you just, we had 700, 800 comments on that video.
Yeah.
So, hey, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. At a certain point, you don't read the comments. I'm not there yet. I don't have.
I don't read.
I don't have that many followers.
I definitely didn't read those comments. So, I mean, I did some, but just kind of get a flavor of what's going on. I definitely didn't answer all those. There's no way. But I was like, someone gives me an angry comment, I might just say, "Hey, thanks for that." Tell me more.
Mm-hmm.
Give me another comment.
Yeah.
Help the algorithm,
In the old days, they call that egging them on.
Yeah. So I egg them on, and so it doesn't bother me at all now. I mean, initially, when I first got my first negative comment from some video, I was like, man, that hurt.
Yeah.
That stinks,
Now you have leather skin. Now you're like,
at all. I just say what I want to say, and
let's go see what someone wrote.
Yeah, so it doesn't bother me at all anymore.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, so Bradley's popping in here. He says, "Is there a reason to clear the house in the event of a break-in, or should you just hunker down in your room, ready for door entry, and let the police clear?"
Great question. That is a fantastic question. And and you're not going to be happy with my answer, but the answer is it depends. Depends on your children and where they are in your house. It depends on your wife. I mean, it depends on very many factors. But I would say some general rules of thumb are these. Okay. One, you need to have some protocols in place with your family. Like if is there, well, actually before that, I would say there's got to be some first lines of defense for your home. Is there home protection in place? I'm talking about gates, fences, dogs, obviously locks, security systems, like things that are preventative in a big way. But then beyond, signs, even, we got signs around our property because we got cameras everywhere. But then beyond that, the protocols for your own family. So if there is a bump in the night, what's the first thing that you do? Have you trained with that? So for me, I'll train like just this very thing. So I'll set an alarm, or I'll have one of my kids or my wife set an alarm. I don't know when it's going to go off. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's off. That's the glass breaking scenario.
Gotcha.
And then I immediately get up, hear the glass break, my alarm, whatever. And what's the first 3 things I do in that moment? So, maybe my kids don't hear it; they're asleep. But do they know what to do if they were to hear something? This is something you should talk. I'd recommend. People talk to their family, their kids, or But if you don't have any kids in your house, then you can hunker down.
Mm-hmm.
If I've got kids in different parts of the house, I'm not going to hunker down.
Yeah.
Right. In that moment, I'm on the attack, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but that also takes some training. And this is why I recommend. So maybe this is beyond what you want to do here, but I recommend like Warrior Poet Society, their training.
Gotcha.
So,
Yeah. I've seen their training. It's very good. It's very good.
You're familiar with them. So like, I go down, spend 2 days with those guys and do training. Man, if you do 2 days, let's say on handgun, pistol 1 and 2, you can get very proficient in just 2 days of 8 hours a day, 16 hours or so of constant training. You're shooting over 1,000, roughly 1,000 rounds or so, in all kinds of scenarios. You get pretty comfortable, not in an unsafe way, but comfortable handling a firearm and using it. And I would say, especially for home defense, you got to have a white light on it. So if you are going to do that, I'm not promoting. I'm just saying, if you
of course, disclaimer activated.
Disclaimer activated. I'm just saying, if you are going to do that, then having a white light. I got a comment a few days ago. Someone said, "Hey, I don't have much money. Should I go with a red dot or a white light first?" I said, "White light, for sure."
Yeah.
I'm a red dot guy, but for home defense and CCW, because a lot of stuff that goes down that's bad is at night.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be able to see what you're shooting at. I mean,
Yeah.
there's four universal laws of firearm safety, and one of them is that your target. It's beyond your target. You know it's either side of your target. You're not going to know any of that if you don't have a white light. So
yeah.
So number one, the outside perimeter protection of your home, but number two, the protocols for within your home, depending on what your family unit looks like, and then number three, the actual training of going through and clearing. So
yeah, no, I'm actually an advocate myself for the white light. It's very difficult. As a marksmanship instructor, I know what you can hit at 3 yards, and I know what you can hit at 30 yards. And with that white light, if you're clearing a room or you're clearing a hallway, and when I say it, I don't mean like in the tactical sense. I mean as in like I'm moving through my house and trying to find the bad guy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Or trying to move something away from the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? Then that white light is a game changer. You don't need you don't need a laser. You don't need a red dot. You need that white light. And wherever that white light hits and you squeeze the trigger on at 3 yards, you're not going to miss.
Especially, I mean, if that white light's throwing some, 600 lumens or more or something.
Yeah.
And that hits the eyes of the assailant or the guy that's intruding your house, they're going to be temporarily blinded anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think in honest there used to be an old argument about like, well, it gives away your position. It's like, well, it also enhances your position because they know you're coming. And oh, by the way, they're not going, gee, I think he has a six, what are those watchkeeper lights that they used to have put like 8D size batteries
yeah,
in?
yeah.
That's not what they're thinking. They're thinking, oh
Mag,
no.
those big old mag lights.
Mag lights, there you
Yeah,
go,
yeah,
Cops
yeah.
used to love those things because you could, like, bash somebody over the head with them
Oh,
and they
they're
might
huge.
survive,
Right.
but,
Very impractical for clearing a house, though.
yeah, exactly, exactly. You gonna do the Dana Scully thing?
Yeah,
I'm FBI.
yeah. That's my recommendation when people talk about, home protection. I'm thinking about. I mean, first, obviously, is your family,
Mhm,
yourself and your family, but second, I mean, is your own castle. And of course, Tennessee, we've got the castle doctrine here, and we have every right to defend our family, our property, our home. Now, if it's outside of my home, that's a whole nother story. I'm not going to give that in the legal sense there, um, but certainly that's a big part of prepping
mhm.
is being able to protect yourself and your family and what you have.
Yeah, most definitely, and I actually think that it falls in the theme of this YouTube channel I'm checking out lately.
Yeah, yeah. I saw another question. Would you pull it up just a second
Oh,
ago?
no, that was Bradley. Bradley was just saying, yes, just me and the wife, dogs and alarm. Got it. White light is handy. Well, my mag light has a taser on it.
Okay.
My
Better,
I'm gonna guess he has a laser on his mag light because oh no, I get it. A taser. It's
taser.
one of
Yeah,
those lights that has a on
yeah.
the end of it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
It's better than
Okay.
nothing. Better than just a big D cell mag light for sure.
Yeah, but what's really funny is a lot of people don't know that those tasers are illegal in a lot of states.
Yeah.
You can buy them. They can be sent to you via Amazon. You could probably pick them up at the local gun store, but they're illegal to use or possess, which is hilarious. But I mean, when it comes down to that, it is what it is. It is what it is.
There's a farmer guy, Joel Salatin. Not sure if you're familiar with him or not, but he has this book, this title entitled "Everything I Want to Do Is Illegal." He wants to grow pigs and animals and then process chickens outdoors. Well, it's illegal to process chickens outdoors.
Yeah, I've seen that. That's kind of wild.
Like all this
That's
kind of
kind of
stuff.
wild.
Everything you want to do is illegal. So like tasers included. So
Bradley's Bradley's at it. It's only illegal if you get caught. Probably wrong platform to say, but it's true. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. I don't. You know, I think it has a lot to do with where you live too.
yeah, I
Not
mean,
just
what state for sure, absolutely.
well. I mean, like if you're out in the country, a lot of people don't
Oh,
care. Unless you have nosy neighbors, and then just put up tall fences.
yeah,
Fences have a tendency to keep neighbors happy.
yeah. I mean, dogs. I think he mentioned. Was it him that mentioned dogs a few minutes ago? Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
think
got a dog.
dogs, and we got two Great Pyrenees
Mhm.
outside, and I guarantee you, between our gate, our fences, and signs and everything else, I mean, our dogs have a certain. It's funny, we get Whole Foods delivery at our house.
Okay,
We live out in the country, so I'm surprised they even deliver. We're like
you delivery guy hates your guts.
well,
Anyway,
some brother comes rolling up, deliver food, and he's greeted by these two huge dogs outside his car window, and he'll crack it down. One time I wasn't home, my wife was, and he cracked his window and kind of shouted out the window to my wife and said, "Hey, are these dogs going to hurt me?" And she said, "Well, no, not if you're going to hurt me. If you don't hurt me, then they're going to hurt you." So they're certainly, that's a good, I mean, it's a good point that the guy that commented, that's a good point to think about in the whole protection piece. It's not just firearms. I mean, I'm an advocate there, but there's other ways to go about it that's preventative,
Mhm.
and that's one
Yeah,
good preventative measure is man's best friend.
Oh yeah. I really love the idea, but I had to put down one of my dogs
Oh,
last year,
oh,
and so I don't know if I want that yet. So
yeah,
we'll see there.
that's tough.
And then where are we at here? Tim says I don't care if it's illegal to have. In my world, it's illegal to die as a victim.
I definitely don't want to be running away and get shot in the back. That's for
Ah,
sure.
that's the truth, man. That's the truth. That is the truth. All right, let's see here. I was gonna ask you a question. I'm trying to remember what it was. Arr. Oh, come on. You would think I would like write these things down, but I just try to keep this thing as free form as possible.
Which is fun.
So yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Why do this? I want to come to these hangouts and go like, I want to be there. I want to have fun. I want to learn about somebody, or maybe I'll learn something new. You know what I'm saying? That's why I do these. That's why I do these.
What I've learned, the difference, I can't remember who someone is similar to what one of the comments your commenter said. I don't know what it is between the difference between, let's just talk about men, for example, just for a moment here. Some men, when they're presented with a danger, a threat, whatever, they will run away and hide. And some men in that moment will run into it. You think about like the 9/11 firefighters running into the building. There was I saw this little clip of these two 10, 12-year-old brothers, boys. And the scene was that they turned onto this very dark lit, just grimy hallway. It looked like an old hotel, like really creepy, kind of place. And at the end of the hallway was a doll, like a creepy doll, like just like kind of a Chucky kind of thing at the end of the hallway. And immediately, so two brothers, one of them, he turned the corner, he just ran away, like as soon as he saw the little doll. The other one stopped for just a split second and then ran right at the doll and like like as he was kicking through the field goal, just kicked the doll. Like I was thinking, well, what's the difference? Attacker comes into your home, some might cower in a corner, and cry or something, and others are going to clear and take the mantle of responsibility and to protect their family. Like what's the distinction there between the two responses to threat or to danger? A few years ago, I was clearing some property, and we had a pack of dogs in our neighborhood, or the general area where I live, and they had killed my next door neighbor's donkey and some of their livestock, and they had chased a caretaker into her car. And so I was a little bit on edge, because that was the previous week. So I was clearing some land on my property. I had a machete with me because I was, hacking through the woods, marking some tape on trees to where I wanted to clear. And sure enough, I was in this gully, and I was coming up this hill, and there's a pack of about 5 dogs, and they started just like charging right at me. And I didn't even think, like no like processing thought, like, well, what should I do at this moment? I just charged right back at him with my machete, and I had every intention, and I had the full confidence that I was going to kill all the dogs. Now, thankfully, they turned and ran away.
Yeah.
Like, last minute. But later on, I reflected upon that. I was like, why did I do that? Because, and not just try to run away. I mean, I couldn't have outrun them anyway, but, one response would have been trying to run away or climb a tree or I don't know, something. Why was my response to run right at them and do that? So, I don't know what it is, but I think part of what I'm trying to inspire and motivate, especially within men, is that I think a God-given inclination and proclivity, can I even say a tendentiousness to charge after, to go into danger, because that is on us. Because if we don't do it, like if we're not going to do that, then or are we trying to get someone else to do it for us?
Mhm.
And that just doesn't mean just like those kind of real threats like in your home. That's bigger picture too, like with values and beliefs and changing whatever in our culture. But um so I think part of it is being willing to suffer the consequences, but having the courage to rush in if need be.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I've been in situations where, I've seen men move in the direction of danger without even thinking about it.
Hmm.
And I honestly think that that has a lot to do with, um, the general good.
Hmm.
You know that you don't really think that something, you don't really stop and think that something is could bad could happen to you. You know already, but
Yeah.
so you don't really think about it. And then, it's normally guided by good, you know.
Yeah.
It's a stupid story. We were doing fireworks in this neighborhood, and somebody had one of these mortars that uh, fell over and fired right at a house. And everybody, they knew this mortar was going to explode like it's supposed to do, and everybody ran, just scattered. And
Mhm.
before I knew it, I was halfway to the house because there was a woman standing in the doorway. She hadn't opened the door yet, and it exploded, and nobody got hurt. But before I even knew what I was doing, I was already halfway there.
Yeah.
Because all I knew is that that happened, and she was there, and so on and so forth. And I think that that kind of goes to, it's just if you know that what could happen is bad, generally we don't do that as human beings.
Right.
So maybe it's just like, a more conscious, maybe it's a level of consciousness, you know what I'm saying? Because we know people that will initially run away and then go, wait a minute, this is wrong. And then they go back.
Yeah.
So maybe it's that. I'm not sure. Maybe it's the Marine Corps brain damage. Maybe it's your time in the service. It could have been anything. It could have been, mom and dad or grandma and grandpa saying, do it right the first time. Otherwise you'll have to do it 50 times. It could be a lot of things,
Right.
ethics, morals, values, things like that. Maybe it's an unknown combination that a psychiatrist can explain one day that everybody will forget about.
Yeah.
But it is kind of crazy there. And the Lamb's Light actually had a question, and I have a question. I started shaking when I get scared. What can I do to mitigate that? That's a tough one, but I would say biologically, people shake when they're scared. It has everything to do with the level of adrenaline that they're having, and that they're already starting to come down from. Most people that's when you'll start to get like shock, is once that adrenaline has started to wear off. But it could be anything. Biologically, it makes the most sense, but it could be anything. What do you think?
Yeah, I think facing the ultimate worst thing that could possibly happen to you beforehand, like preparing for that. Like for me, I've had to come to the conclusion that I'm okay to die. Like I'm actually okay to die. Like if something came to it, um, I mean, I'm not wanting that, of course, uh, but if it came down to it, I think I've come to a. I mean, I've got the survival instinct, of course. Like I want to protect myself and all that. But if it really came down to it, and I recognize like that's the worst thing that could happen to me, then I'm okay with that. That kind of puts a different perspective on anything else. I mean, it really helps to mitigate some of the fear. Um, so I think
Yeah,
it's
it's true.
taken
It's
into
true.
account like the worst thing that could happen to you. Well, okay, yeah, you get killed or something happens.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I'm I'm on borrowed time anyway. Like I'm here as long as I can be, help others, whatever. But when my time comes, it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. And I've told this story a few times, but it's the very first time I got into a helicopter in the Marine Corps. I was lucky enough to sit down next to an old sergeant major, and I was scared out of my mind, and everybody's sitting there, and a lot of the guys were new just like me, and You know, he's like, look, here's some simple rules. If you don't smell jet fuel, get out of the helicopter. It's out of fuel. If you don't see hydraulic fluid everywhere, get out of the helicopter because it ain't got none. You know, and then once that helicopter took off, I just kind of came to the realization that I'm not really in control of this situation.
Yeah.
And once you realize you don't really have any control over it, the fear kind of goes away.
Yeah.
You know, it's either that or you're traumatized for life. But, you know, in most cases, once you realize you don't really have any control over it, you have a tendency to kind of just relax a little bit. And I've seen that before, you know, flying in really bad weather, where babies are screaming on the plane, the lights are all out, grown men are throwing up in the aisles, and you're sitting there going, this sucks, but
what are you going to do about it?
What am I going to do about it?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm not a fatalist like in some ways like that, but
yeah,
you know, on the other hand, I'm content. You know, if something were to happen and I couldn't have any control over it, then just kind of facing, you know, it's like I've got a friend that always just says, move toward your fear. I mean, some people you're afraid of even confronting or talking to or something. And he always just says, just move toward it. Like just go into the fear. And that way you mitigate, you take out all anxiety and stress because it's the thing that you fear that's causing you stress.
Yeah, you take the power away from it.
You take that away from it, you move into it. And so in this case, like this question, you know, fear of death, probably fear of dying. But if you just move toward it and just say, all right, what am I most afraid of? The pain, maybe, probably. Or is it something else? Is it the sheer, I don't know, adrenaline and fear of evil or something? I don't know, but whatever it is, to move toward it, you know, whatever your fundamental level of fear is. So,
gotcha. Okay, well, we've hit our hour mark as usual. As usual, I have things to do. You have things to do. I've got to go do some grocery shopping. Everybody thinks I work at Walmart. I assure you, I do not. But until you see me in that blue and yellow vest, I can neither confirm or deny that. Anyway, I want to thank you for hanging out with me for an hour. You're welcome to come back anytime you like. We're definitely going to be staying in touch. Don't forget to send me an email with like those links so I can add it to the description so people can actually like find those things, especially with that new book coming out. I'm sure that'll be added to that link in some way, shape, or form.
Cool.
All right. As usual, guys, you know the deal. There's going to be some videos going to pop up on some side over here when I click off of this. Yeah, go do that stuff and stay safe. Have a great day, and I shall see you when I see you. Don't disappear. I want to talk to you. Bye-bye.